Hello, I'm John Proxian. Welcome to the Proximity. I'm having a Control Foundation venture. I assume this means death, but I'm going to check it out. Oh, yes it is. Okay. So, it's a bit of a maze. We'll have a look around. I'll try to be a little bit less faffy. I've turned my sound up as well because I'm leaning back in my chair more than I used to. Well, that's probably not good. And they're not doing anything to me. Ooh. Did I enter the wrong side? Whatever. We now know that the White Depths is bad. That's the one we know about in the Foundation. The one we know about in the Foundation. This should be new. Formation? I don't know what I picked up. Right, I just spent 5 minutes not knowing which of these was the new one. It's cave paintings. I had to look it up online. It's really easy to just go through them all and miss whatever the new one is. On Art and Time, compiled by Dr. Theodore Ashe, Head of Research, by order of Director Broderick Northmore. And now it seems obvious because it's Ashe and Northmore. At first, I thought the cave paintings in the Foundation chronicled ancient human encounters with natural occurrences like weather, but it soon became clear they depicted events far outside the human experience. Also, it seems like I was wrong to assume the images are ancient. Radiocarbon dating suggests something impossible, but I've been down here longer than the paintings. That's absurd, though. The style and medium clearly indicate a Paleolithic origin. I was ready to conclude that the ancient community of humans lived in or around the oldest house. Now, with this information, I don't know what to think. One of our agents during these? Or is there someone down here with us? This place has a habit of skewing my results, so perhaps the data is corrupted. Perhaps some paintings were created at different times. The art does seem to chronicle not only the past, but also the present, and possibly even the future. I can see them in echoes of the board. Some linear architecture, even what could be interpreted as a director. Are the paintings telling a story that will be still being written? If so, who's writing it? Ooh. What paintings? Anyway. Let's go into the next room. Yeah, legitimately, I spent like 5 minutes going, which one is it? And then trying to look up guides that tell me where the collectibles are so I could read the name of the collectible. That seems like a... I don't know, something that could be improved. I know if I press the button all the way in, it will just open it automatically. But if you miss, then you're screwed. There's no, like, this is the last one that you opened. Did I just walk backwards? I did. How about that?
Those paintings look old. Like, old.
What paintings? Paintings. Do you like put a thing that says, "Oh, I'm looking at those paintings there"? I very preemptively picked up this rock. Oh, these ancient hits. Or... no, they're not. They're in modern gear. Oh, they are quick.
Now.
Sharpened agents display a para-utilitarian ability to rapid move short distances. This ability is unique in the fact that it's not associated with any known object of power. However, we should not discount the possibility that this ability is an object variation. For example, abrupt physical relocation, APR, could potentially be a variant of the jukebox's effect. Other explanations of the hiss's sharpened ability currently include a momentary time manipulation, brief increase in physical speed, inhibiting the witness's sense of sight. If we do, let's take a sip of this, accept that the hiss's sharpened abilities is not connected to a known object of power, then the hiss are either manifesting unique paranatural abilities or that there are objects in the house that we aren't aware of. Either way, the hiss are continuing to develop new strains of corruption, and that is cause for concern. Refer to file redacted for full report. Cool. Shifting fragment. Tom, you missed the good news. I'm sure the official memo will go out soon, but Northmore called an all hands at the Crossroads to announce that we're finally moving out of this hellhole and up into the house proper. Bureau Brass apparently solved the moving walls problem, or at least figured out a way to pinpoint where and when they happen. All I know is going up means goodbye darkness, goodbye weird lunches with that ex-Nazi scientist, and goodbye pissing into the pit. And I know that was you, Barry. Northmore's ordered ring, the Foundation sealed as soon as we can haul our stuff out, somehow convince Ash to come with us. He's the only one kicking up a fuss. This is long overdue. We've lost 11 men and damn near tens of thousands of dollars in supplies moving between the entrance and the Foundation. And for what? Research? Ash is batty if he thinks we want to stay here and sift through more sand for him. It's just rusted iron flakes anyway. Did you know that? We were breathing that shit in. I'm guessing I couldn't have gone the other way anyway, but I really want to know if I could. Beware of toxic geysers. That geezer's well toxic. Huh. I wish I could see the cave paintings. Okay. That's not what I was looking for, is it? This is basically where I came from. Okay. Mr. Wilder, I have some bad news. You remember that Robert Ricardo fella we brought in as a cave consultant to map the lower caves? Well, today he found a chamber with weird eyes covering every inch of the walls, with a strange black pillar in the centre. Kinda looks like the one at the Crossroads, but smaller. We had a bureau member shadowing him, but whatever happened in there did a number on our guest. The docs are taking a look, but it's pretty clear Mr. Adventure's exploring days are over. I know we were careful to limit the guy's exposure to non-ordinary. Dragging him and carrying him through the upper floor was a real hoot, by the way. But we really need to reevaluate our policies on external contractors. Honestly, we'd be better off forming a special division trained in repelling and orienteering than subjecting more outsiders to the shit we deal with. They always end up dead or loony.
The astral plane is cutting into our dimension. What if this happens in the upper floors? It'll destroy the Bureau.
I guess that question mark on the left is going to lead me down anyway. Cave bleed. How do I do... Okay, it's that. Oh, there's another one. How would you do that, John? Looks like a dude we should have on our side. Astral copy. With the astral plane now physically accessible, a torrent of new information has been collected on the entities known as astral copies. Copies' bodies are composed of dense stone-like material that is both resilient under controlled circumstances and brittle when stuck with significant force. The reports are for full compositional analysis. Whether the astral copies possess individual consciousness or are directed by a higher intelligence, such as the board, remains unknown. However, their shared aggression seems to indicate a unified goal. Director Faden's encounters with these entities when binding objects of power in the astral plane indicate they serve as live targets for potential para-utilitarians to practice on. Some have been equipped with Bureau weaponry, though it seems unlikely they were armed by our personnel. It is important to note that they appear immune to his corruption. Refer to file redacted for full report. I did not know I could do that. That would probably have helped. Or... What are you? Shifting background now.
I wish you brought Emily with me. I could really use my head of research right about now.
I mean, you got reports from her a second ago.
Marshall? Marshall! You're alive!
Where? Marshall, tell me where these cave paintings are.
Wait! It's Jesse! The director!
Did I miss her?
Whoa. This place is huge. Marshall? Can you hear me? She was on the hotline, so that person couldn't have been Marshall, right? One problem at a time. Let's see what's going on with that pillar first.
I know it's not going to let me, but I'm going to try anyway. Yeah, I'm going to need a higher jump. Fair enough. Okay, that is a painting I can see. Look at that. Inverted pyramid. The pillar found in the Crossroads is best described as an onyx spike that protrudes from the cave floor like an imposing stalagmite. Despite its aggressive silhouette, the structure has an undeniable allure. Freud would have certainly had something to say about the pillar's overly erect nature, but I'm more drawn to Whitmore's essay on dynamic layers, structures within structures, the fractal mirror in every being. Given its significant location, I believe the pillar is either the very heart of the oldest house, or an intrusion within that heart. Or perhaps it's like the husk of a seed from which the oldest house sprouted. Trottier wrote, though the great architecture isn't built, it grows. But why does the pillar look so different from the rest of this place's concrete walls and rocky caverns? Easier to see it as an anomaly, a buried artifact, a foreign body, a demonic phallus. I wonder if the pillar is any more welcome here than we are. You want me to revere the demonic phallus? Sure, why not? What?
So I can only choose one? I thought I was done with these tests.
That one seems a lot more interesting. Shape manipulate. Cool. This reminds me of the time travel game. I've forgotten what it's called now. Sorry, my brain is not telling me the words I want to know. Quantum break. MacGuffins. Oh, we're in the fringe, are we? Huh. Okay, it's a challenge, John. You understand that, right? Yeah, I just forgot, okay? Alright, my tea's ready. And... no, it's not ready, it's cold. It's ruddy cold. Hmm. Right, you didn't send me that far back. Funny. Yeah, I get it though. I should only be using the ability it just taught me. Of course, the abilities that I'm forced to use. Tis a challenge after all. Cool. Get some more useless bullets, shall I? Already knew that game, but you for giving me a clue as to how to solve this. There's a key.
Okay, let's review. This broken pillar is called the nail. It was broken by something, and now the astral plane is bleeding into the foundation, which will destroy the oldest house, the bureau, and everyone inside. I need to find 4 locks, or keys, or whatever, to stop that from happening. But I'm the director. I've handled worse. This should be simple. Ish. You with me?
Did I miss? I feel like I might have. Okay. Shield barrage, shield. I'm gonna save up for launch. Yes, I am. Go into here. I guess this would have been in the original research rooms. Let's try the other one then. See if it's more promising.
It's been 5 days since we first entered the building. Traversing the interior is dangerous due to the shifting, but we did manage to find a lower cavern that seems structurally predictable, which is a scientific way of saying its walls won't crush us in our sleep. Northmore even made a discovery. A pistol, placed on a stone pedestal in front of that strange ebony pillar. Seems like something out of a storybook, except the heroes usually find swords, not handguns. But it is the perfect lure for someone like him. Hours after finding this weapon, Northmore cornered me to spout some nonsense about how the board had made him the director. He ran it about the title being meaningless before now, calling Father and all other previous directors shams, frauds, and worse. I think this place is worse for Northmore than it is for me. Strangest thing? There was no pedestal in front of that pillar a day ago. This building has swallowed a dozen of my men, and now it's handing out presents? Is it playing some sort of game? If it is, we're most certainly losing. Hell, we don't even know the rules.
Cool. I mean, that sounds horrible, but cool. Oh, it appears we do actually have a choice now. So I'm guessing this is the entire map. You know, maybe little bits and pieces, but generally. I get the 4 keys, maybe there's an end mission. Because I know it's not very long, this. Oh, look at that. Looky, looky. So if I get the second ability... again, shall we? If I get the second ability, I'll be able to go to the 2 other places. Including the, I've forgotten what that room called. That one. Not the ashtray maze. Whatever the big gap is called. Yeah, I had more time than I thought I did. Better. Look. The warehouse path. I'm gonna find Power's on. I don't want to burn past everywhere. Meet the ritual in the warehouse. How much time I'm going to have for this, but sure. Warehouse. Ooh.
Is this a Bureau ID badge? It looks so old. Hope will definitely want to see this.
Okay. Coming for Pope. That's a lift. We'll do that last. Or possibly on the next episode. The oldest house has revealed much to me during my months in the Foundation, but many questions remain. This is Ash. Primarily, the tree etchings bewilder me. What is their significance? The house has changed shape over its lifetime, as I've theorized. Then was it a tree? Was a tree its first form? I sent a team to Schwartzman Building in search of pre-settlements accounts of Manhattan Island. From those I discovered a single relevant line. There I found a tree not known to me, the devil twisted within its bark. That line, taken with the fact that certain American cultures believed some trees would offer wisdom and guidance, is indeed interesting. However, it is hardly firm evidence. And though I am now bound to the oldest house, I remain a man of science. Of course, there are numerous ancient beliefs regarding some trees. Yggdrasil, the tree of knowledge. Yax Imixche. Some cultures offer... I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly, by the way. Offered blood sacrifices to trees, while others claim trees endowed chosen individuals with inhuman powers. Do New York City's many murders act as a sacrifice? The oldest house. Does the house have a chosen champion? Is it me? No, it's Northmore, isn't it? Yes, Yggdrasil is a very apt. As I know, like, I'm a big fan of games by this company, which I've forgotten the name of. I'm a big fan of Sam Lake, but like it's all too easy to just say this is a game made by Sam Lake. It's made by a team of people, and I'm pretty sure he has less input in than he does back in the days of Max Payne 1 and 2, and Alan Wake. But still, running through all those games is Norse mythology, which I think is just really neat. Anyway, you know about this when we got it. I picked a stupid order to open these up in, didn't I? On the pyramid and geometry, I've been going through my library, researching pyramids and triangles. If that shape does relate to the board, as Northmore said, then perhaps our predecessors in the occult can offer some insight through their geometric knowledge. In esotericism, the triangle is closely associated with the Holy Trinity and other three-part concepts, past, present, future, mind, body, spirit. Interestingly, the term board also implies multiple parts. Upright triangles in Judeo-Christian imagery indicate ascent into the rational, divine realm. Inverted, it signifies a descent into the corporeal human. Naturally, the ascent is masculine, the fall is feminine, Adam and Eve. But that's just a bit of old world patriarchy. It's 1964 now, and we're well past that silliness. Oh, if only. Considering the above, what does the inverted triangle tell us about the board? They're clearly not corporeal or human. Perhaps they wish to be. Or they once were. The likeliest answer is simple, that theological imagery cannot help us define alien entities. But still, the pyramid seems significant. Ships have power, and clearly so does the board. I said, oh, if only. The 60s, like if you look up, I'm going to tread carefully here. So the idea of the patriarchy has been around for a really long time. Like, yes, it was known in the 60s, and people would have been like, to a certain extent, I don't know, because you mentioned Freud earlier, but the whole idea of tying order and chaos or to male and female, he doesn't tie it order and chaos, but some people do, and it's is dumb. But the whole you think of it in a Freudian way, the way people consider towers and holes, like the chevron and the whatever the opposite of a chevron is, the downwards diagonal. That's where you get the whole masculine, feminine from, because people tie those shapes into male, female. Yeah, but this game, it's nice of this game to go, hey, we're gonna keep the sort of pseudo imagery, the science of it. It's even that's a bit silly. We can just kind of throw that bit away. But just yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the timing of the 60s, but considering the 60s is, well...
Weird place to leave an ID card, but okay.
Peak counterculture? But, I was born in the 80s, so it's hard for me to know exactly what was from the 60s, what was from the 70s, and what's from the 90s. Oh my word. There's always been around here. Oh, so it just takes me further down.
28 days now spent inside what we're calling the oldest house. Northmore insists on the name. I'm too tired to ask why. I'm not sleeping well. Per orders, me and my research team have established a permanent examination lab in the Foundation. I basically live down here now, like the obedient head of research Father raised me to be. I spend my days investigating that odd pillar where Northmore found the handgun. The work was half-hearted at first, I admit. But then I discovered numerous non-Aristotelian energy channels converging at its base. Ley lines, dragon roads, Hyligalinian, call them what you want. But this pillar is the Crossroads.
Ah.
I started building something. Equal parts talisman and technology. An array that can impose order on the ley junctions. That's the idea, at least. We'll see when I'm done. I prefer to work away from the pillar. I'm not the only one who feels like that thing has eyes.
Okay, so, recently, I'm making a game, by the way. It's a puzzle game. It's a platformer, and the idea is that you have, let's say this is hard. Like you can jump on this because it's hard. But if it wasn't there, or if it didn't have its hardness, you'd fall through it. You could take the hardness, in the form of what I call a clay heart, and put it in something that currently doesn't have one, so you can use it to jump up, so on and so forth. I don't want to explain the entire thing because this isn't why we're here. But I had to come up with the idea of what happens if you combine concepts. So if you combine gum, which is something that makes it bouncy, with clay, you get candy. Which means otherwise gum you just fall through because it's still not solid. And then I added this other concept called amber. And the amber is things that you'd normally... It stops things that are insubstantial, i.e. these things that aren't solid, they can still be stopped by amber things, because otherwise they'd leave the room. That's right. And then I was like, well, I can combine those three, and I create... And here's why I started talking about this. Fae. So I had to figure out what the difference... Because I was thinking like fairy, something sort of mystical, but like a fairy tale, which is different from like science fiction or this is basically the end of the episode, by the way, so you know, if you're not interested in this, please feel free to go to the next one. So the difference between fairy tale is sort of magical, whereas it's a, how do I explain this? It's just a different type of fantasy. Fantasy is the word I was thinking of. That I wanted to invoke. So I had to figure out, do I want fairy? Do I want fae? And then I realised fae, F-A-E, and fae, F-E-Y, aren't necessarily the same thing. One of them's about fairies, and one of them is about just sort of dark magic in general. But they both, I think, have the same root word. It's like German for fairy. And I wanted to use fairies because I'm currently in a place called Cornwall, and Cornwall has a history of we call them piskies down here, but it's like it's neat to have a little bit of Cornish in the game, you know, like it's neat to put Nordic in the game, you know, Norse stuff. As if obviously this is a Finnish company. I'm trying to figure out what the relationship between Finland is and Norse. It's close. It's in that... I don't know if it is precisely that area, but obviously there's the 3 countries up there. And I assume they would all have Norse mythology, or at least they'd know about it reasonably. Like I know about Norse mythology, and I'm English, so you know what I mean. Anyway, so the reason I started talking about this is I wanted to know whether ley, from ley line, is related to fae and fae. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, I think we've gone over time, because I've got to glue a little bit at the start of this episode as well. But I'm going to let you go. I've been John Proxy. You are now leaving